As Jango and the True Mandalorians gather their strength on their new homeworld of Hoth, Jango strikes a deal with Hondo Ohnaka and his band of pirates. With the full backing of Jester Mareel, Hondo is to help them get back on their feet in exchange for their freedom. But the True Mandalorians feel shaken up as they feel they are unsafe anywhere they go, and they will put any sort of population at risk no matter where they hide. In the meantime, Tor Vizsla doubts his nephew's capabilities as a leader and smashes the Mask of Mandalore in order to solidify his rule under the Darksaber. Today, on Star Wars Fanatic. If you're new to the channel or haven't taken the Creed, go on and hit the subscribe button, like the video, and share it with some friends. Let's see if we can get this one over 1,000 views. After the meeting with Hondo Ohnaka, Jango instructs the others to release the pirates from their cells, but to keep their ships on lockdown. No pirate is to leave without an escort. Then he asks that everyone leave the room other than Jaster. When the room is cleared, Jango looks Jaster in the eyes and asks him, "Why are you keeping Montross in custody? We need him to fight with us." Jaster lowers his head slightly. Montross is a Vizsla. Jango shrugs it off. "We know this. He didn't agree with his brother's ideals and joined you from the beginning." Jaster looks up again. "Jango, you do not understand what this means. Have I taught you nothing? The Vizslas are one of the strongest clans in Mandalorian society. They have been around since our ancient ancestors, the Taung, started conquering other worlds. The Vizslas have been raised in the Taung mindset for generations. They shouldn't be trusted." Jango looked confused. "Then why did you let him join? You trusted him for this long. Why the change now?" Jaster hung his head slightly again. "When I started this cause, I was young and naive. Montross Vizsla seemed wholeheartedly behind me. He was a great warrior, and many followed him with me." Jango stood staunchly. "He has given us no reason not to trust him. He has obeyed your orders, even when in protest. Yes, he wanted to kill the Ren boy, but that should just prove he was dedicated to our mission. No one has spoken ill of him, and he gives his all in battle. Sure, his methods are questionable, but even when he is faced against his old friends, he still fights. He has even killed a few of them. Father, I mean no disrespect, and I'm not telling you how to lead us. I'm only giving you the facts. If you really think he did this, then he should stay in the cell." Jaster perked up a little. "Jango Fett, you're going to make a great Mandalore one day. You are wise beyond your years, and you notice everything. I trust your judgment." Then Jango called out, "Miles, Silas, bring Montross Vizsla to us." The two had been waiting outside the room. Jango could hear their footsteps walk away. As they waited, Jaster talked a bit more. "I'm getting older, Jango. We have been run from one safe place to another, and in constant fear that we will be attacked on our own soil. I fear I have become paranoid. But if anything happens to me, you must continue what we have started. The Mandalorian people will be better off with you as their Mandalore. The Resol'nare and the Super Commando Codex must be upheld and protected. If we do not honor them, then we have not evolved." Jango then looked him in the eyes. "Father, how do we consider ourselves Mandalore? We don't have the Darksaber nor the Mask of Mandalore. They are the mark of the true Mandalore." Jaster grew impatient with this line of questioning. "The Darksaber is a Vizsla relic. It belongs in their family, but it is not the mark of a leader. It is only a mark of power that our people can't grasp fully. That cursed blade needs to be destroyed. Tor Vizsla was one of my closest advisors. When I announced the Super Commando Codex, he was enraged. He waited until I was off in a conference and stole the mask. With his possession of it, it made some believe he was now the legitimate leader of the Mandalorian people. He is a pretender." Jango nodded. "We will get the mask back and destroy Death Watch." Just then, Montross was escorted into the room. His knuckles were bloody from the many times he had punched the wall of his cell. He sat across from Jango and Jaster asked Miles and Silas Scarata to leave. Montross lowered his head and gazed at the two from beneath his brow. He was a menacing man with a glare that would frighten a Wookiee. Neither one were intimidated, though. Montross spoke. "Is this my tribunal, sire?" Jaster held back his disdain for the Vizsla. "No, young Jango has made me realize that I have made a mistake. I have held your name against you unintentionally. Your name does not make you guilty." Jango took his turn. "You have given me no reason to doubt your innocence. In fact, quite the opposite. We're going to free you with a condition. You are to continue to adhere to Jaster's leadership. What he says goes. Your temper has gotten the best of you numerous times, and it creates chaos with the troops." Montross smiled maliciously and spoke in a sarcastic tone. "Oh, I should feel grateful to you, young Fett, Jaster's chosen one, but I can't disagree with my situation. And in your situation, you can't afford to have one of your strongest warriors locked away. There will be a battle soon, and you will bet that Tor Vizsla will be gunning for all of us. He won't take prisoners, not even me. You need me. I agree to your terms." Jaster called for the Scarata brothers again and had them remove Montross's binders. Then Montross leapt across the table and punched Jaster in the jaw. "Now we are even." Jango jumped forward, but Jaster stopped him. "If this is what it takes to satisfy him, I will let him have the hit. But if it happens again, I will kill you myself, Montross Vizsla." Jango then backed down, and the three left the room with Montross in front, then Jango, then finally Jaster. It was a sign that Jaster still didn't trust Montross. But he knew he was right, and he didn't have a choice. The rest of the day was full of gathering supplies from worlds close to them that Hondo Ohnaka had caches stashed on. He was upholding his end of the bargain. In the coming weeks, he had actually even grown on the Mandalorians. He didn't seem like he was all pirate. He seemed more like he was just wanting to be rich. He was still not fully trustworthy, though, but he understood that with helping the Mandalorians, he would be one step closer to his goal of being rich. This time, without fear of the Republic incarcerating him for illegal activity. He thought to himself, "Hondo Ohnaka? Are you becoming an honest man?" It was a thought that made him shudder. He wasn't a charity organization, but knew Mandalorians were good for their word. If they were going to kill him or double-cross him, they would have done so when they got the supplies. He also knew that these warriors were better protection for him than his own men even. But there would come a time when he would need to leave them. Not just yet. Riches first. Back on Concordia, Tor Vizsla remembers what he told Arla Fett. "Your brother is not the same boy you knew as a child. He is only Jango Fett by name now." He didn't think she knew how deep those words ran. His own brother had turned against him and joined Jaster Mareel. His own brother. They grew up together. Their father, Sharlan Vizsla, trained them together. They followed the same creed. Now, he was raising Montross's son and he was turning out to be a fine warrior. This betrayal ran very deep in Tor. Had his brother stayed by his side, he would have left Jaster to his own demise. But he had to see this to the end now. He had to defeat Jaster if there were any way to save Montross Vizsla. This conflict had to end soon, but it wouldn't. Time had passed. Jaster and his men had grown in numbers and in strength. More and more Mandalorians had fled Mandalore and its worlds due to the pacifists gaining more and more power. Mandalorians were now being discouraged from any kind of warrior activity at all, including bounty hunting and acting as private security for non-Mandalorians. Hoth had become bigger than Jaster Mareel and Jango Fett had ever hoped for, but growth could bring notice. There had not been a battle with Death Watch in over a year. The last was again on Concord Dawn when the journeyman protector who succeeded Jango Fett was under attack by a small band of Death Watch. Jaster sent Jango to lead a mission to pull the elderly law enforcement officer and his 5 sons from the planet. The mission was a success, and the men were even more eager to follow Fett into battle after that. Jango didn't want to linger long, but he did do a flyby of his childhood home. It was unrecognizable. The vegetation had taken over, but he could still make out the foundation of his home and the spot where he saw his mother lay lifeless and his father murdered. He then remembered the weapon used to kill his father, the black blade. He had forgotten about it for so long. This blade was used for horrendous acts against Mandalorian people. Jaster was right. It needed to be destroyed. Jango felt ill when he returned to the transport. Hondo was there. "My friend, you seem to have seen a ghost." This time Hondo meant it. He and Jango had become friends. Well, as close friends as a warrior and a cutthroat pirate could be. But they had developed a mutual relationship. Jango responded, "That was my home as a child." Hondo sat next to Jango. "It is difficult to revisit bad memories. I too revisited where my family was killed by the Pike Syndicate. I have come to terms that I will never return there again. But you, my boy, will be okay. Use the good memories of your family to survive. But you already know this." Hondo and his men had been free to come and go as they pleased for about 6 standard months, at the time of the last skirmish with Death Watch. But they stuck around. They found a certain camaraderie with the Mandalorians, misfits from a culture that no longer accepted them, just as Hondo and his men were misfits in their own business enterprises. Jaster still didn't trust the Weequay pirates, but they had proven themselves in battle on several occasions. But as Jaster had admitted years prior, he was getting older and more paranoid. So he trusted in Jango Fett more and more. He was his balance. Among the new recruits to the True Mandalorians was a young female warrior, Resol'nare Kreese. Her slightly older sister was the leader of the new Mandalorians, Satine Kreese. She also had a younger sister with her of about 10 years in age, Bo-Katan Kreese. Resol'nare also had a young son of about the same age, Corky. His father, Lo-Cree, had been killed just before his birth. This war was creating a lot of Mandalorian orphans. It was also separating families. This was beginning to contradict the Resol'nare. Honoring tribes was becoming increasingly difficult when a lot of tribes were at war within themselves. Meanwhile, Tor Vizsla met with a representative of the Jedi Council. The Jedi were concerned that this Mandalorian civil war was disrupting the peace in the galaxy. After all, the Jedi were the guardians of peace. Jaster Mereel and Jango Fett were invited to the summit as well, but didn't show up. This was already a direct slap in the face to the Jedi and Death Watch, but the Jedi understood that Mandalorians were often difficult at times to deal with. However, Jaster Mereel and Jango Fett never received the word of the summit. This concludes part 6 of my Jango Fett fanfiction. If you're just joining in, there are 5 other parts that I have done. This is my way of giving Jango Fett and eventually Boba Fett a good backstory that fits into the new canon. The inspiration for this is Open Seasons and the Bounty Hunter video game. Let me know in the comments what you think. I don't claim this is canon, but like I said, they are fanfiction. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you're new to the channel or haven't taken the Creed yet, go on and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Currently, about 43% of you watching the channel are not yet subscribed. You're watching, might as well go ahead and subscribe. Also, go on and hit that like button and share the video to help my channel grow a little more each day. And let's see if we can get the attention of some Lucasfilm executives on this one. I'm looking at you, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Wouldn't that be crazy? Alright, thank you for watching, and remember, this is the way. The only way.